In this video, we shall be looking on the sine rule. So we are going to explain what the sine rule is, how to find the distances, the angles using the sine rule. And if you didn't watch my previous video where I was teaching about the cosine rule, kindly watch that video so that you can have a clear understanding over this. Let's get started. Well, first of all, let me just give you a link up of what we have been doing. So, understand that under trigonometry, small angles, small letters rather, they represent the distance. Big letters represent the angles. In this case, we are going to use this same concept. So, what does the sine rule state? Okay, so we have been given this triangle ABC. So, the way to break this triangle is this. My angle for A is this one, but my distance for A is going to be this one. My angle for B is this one, but my distance for B is going to be this one. And of course, we use the same concept on C. My angle for C is this one, but then my distance for C is this one. Now, the sine rule states that the distance of A must ratio the sine of the angle big letter A. And of course, this must equal to the distance of B, which in this case is AC, must ratio sine the angle B. And of course, this is going to equal to small letter c, which is the distance AB over sine angle C. So using this concept, we are able to calculate almost everything. Let's try to calculate the distance C and AB. But before that, let me make mention of something. When do you use the sine rule? Okay. Let me just try to wrap something. Just try to wrap this. All right. So, when do we use the sine rule? We use the sine rule whenever we have only been given one distance. So in this case, we've only been given 20 kilometers. The other sides have not been given. So in this case, we shall use the sine rule. It's very easy. So the first thing to do, let's find x. It will be easy for us to calculate everything. All right, so let me just try to find x here. Now look at this. X plus 60 plus 40 is equal to 180. So this is going to be x plus 100 equal to 180. So x is equal to 180 minus 100. So our angle is 80. So we have 80 where there's x. Now, in order for you to calculate the other sides, you need to have one side which is complete. By being complete, what I mean is it must have the distance, it must have the angle. In this case, B is complete because B has an angle of 60 degrees, and at the same time it has a distance of 20 kilometers. So always, whenever you are dealing with the sine rule, check out for a side which is complete. Okay, so the side which is complete is what you shall be using to find these other sides. All right, so let's first of all find A. So in this case, I'm going to get the side which is complete. So B over sine B is going to equal to A over sine big letter A. Now, what distance is B? Notice that B is 20 kilometers over sine B is just 60 degrees. Okay. A is a distance which is not known, but we have the angle which is 80 degrees. This becomes simple. We can cross multiply. We are going to have A sine 60. This is going to equal to, this is 20 multiplied by sine 80. We can cancel by sine 60. We can cancel by sine 60. So we are going to have A equal to, alright, so let's just do some simple calculations there. It's going to multiply sine 80. Okay, so we are going to have 19.6 divided by sine 60. Alright, so our answer is going to be 22.7 kilometers. So in this case, we can finally say that the distance BC, which is being represented by letter A, is 22.7 kilometers. Alright, and this makes sense. Okay. Now, how about if we want to find the distance represented by C, which is AB? Pause the video and try to just calculate something before I solve. Alright, let me just try to wrap this. So the sine rule is very, very simple. Shall we do some practice questions, then we shall do examination questions in my coming video. So now we get the first one, which is complete. Then we equate to what we want to find. In this case, we want to find C. Now, B is 20 kilometers. Sine B is simply 60 degrees. C is some distance we do not know, but sine C is 40 kilometers. We cross multiply. We are going to get 20 multiplying sine 40 equal to C sine 60. Of course, we can cancel both sides by sine 60, even here by sine 60. C is going to equal to, let me just try to do some calculations. So 20 multiplied by C sine 40 divided by sine 60. Well, we are getting 14.8 kilometers. So we can finally say that the distance AB is equal to 14.8 kilometers. So you see, provided you have one side which is complete, which has the angle, and at the same time the side which has the distance. You can find every other thing provided you have the angles, of which the angles are very easy to calculate. Alright, let's continue. Now look at this. We've calculated C. Okay, we've calculated C. We've calculated every other thing. So from here, let's try to do another example. Okay, so they're saying given the following triangle ABC, AB is 20 kilometers, BC is 60 kilometers, AC is 50 kilometers. They're saying triangle ABC is 40 kilometers. Then they're saying we calculate the angle BSC. Now, I put this question deliberately because I want you to relate. What formula are we going to use here? Well, we have this side, and we have the angle. The cosine rule is going to apply. So now, to calculate the angle BSC, which is particularly this angle, we are going to use the cosine rule in this case. Now, cosine rule states that, I'm sure by now you know that the distance for A is this one, the distance for B is this one, and the distance for C is particularly this one. Now, from here, we can calculate the angle X. So we know that A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC. Then we have the cosine, the big letter angle A. So in this case, we can just do a replacement. A is 60 kilometers. B is 50 kilometers. C is 20 kilometers. Okay, then I just do my replacements there. So the angle A is what we're looking for. Let's just do a calculation. 60 power 2. Of course, we're getting 3,600. So this is going to be 50 power 2. This is going to be 25. Plus, this is going to be 20 power 2. This is going to be 400. Minus. So you can punch from here up to here. So this is going to be negative 2, 50, 20, and of course we're getting a negative 2,000. Cosine A. Let's add the like terms, which happens to be just this. So in this case, we are going to have 3,600 equally. This is 2,500 plus 400. Let's see what we're going to have. We're going to have a 2,990 minus, this is 2,000 cosine A. Now look at this. We can subtract. We can take this side to its like term. So it's going to be 3,600 minus 2,900. And of course, we are going to get 700 equal to negative 2,000 cosine A. So say over 2,000 over 2,000. So we can say that cosine A is going to equal to, then we can say divide by negative 2,000. We are going to get negative 0.35. Okay, so if we want to find the angle, we say A is equal to cosine the inverse of negative 0.35. Okay, so let's find the cosine of this. Okay, and we're getting 110. Therefore, we can say that the angle BAC is equal to 110.4 degrees. All right, so we have calculated this angle. We can therefore calculate C using the same concept. Let's try to calculate C. Let's try to calculate C. Let me just grab my board. So this is very, very simple, just a matter of understanding. Okay, it's very simple to do both the cosine and the sine rule. Okay, let's get to calculate C. So in this case, we are using the same formula, but for C, it would be C to the power 2 equal to A power 2 plus B power 2 minus 2, then A, B, cosine big letter C. In this case, we can put our C where it's supposed to be, and of course our distance for C is 20 kilometers. What is the distance for A? It's 60 kilometers. Plus, what is the distance for B? B is 50 kilometers. Of course, we just do a replacement there. Then we want to find C. So we can say that 20 to the power 2, we are getting just a 400. 60 power 2, it's 3,600. Plus, this is 50 power 2, and we're getting a 2,500. Minus, we can just do the same thing. Negative 2, we do our multiplication there. Cosine. All right, we don't have to include the cosine because we are doing our calculation there. So this is going to be 6,000 cosine C. That's what we wanted to calculate. So we can say 4,400 rather minus. Let's try to calculate to add the like terms. So if added 3,600 plus 2,500, we are getting 6,100. Okay, then we say negative 6,000 cosine big letter C. Now look at this, 400 minus 6,100, we are getting negative 57, like that, equal to negative 6,000. So this is going to be over 6,000. Over 6,000. If you cancel this, you are going to get cosine C equal to, and of course this negative and this negative will cancel. So this will be divided by 6,000. We are going to get positive 0.3, sorry, 0.9. Supposed to be 0.9, 0.95. So C is going to equal to cosine the inverse of 0.95. And of course C is going to be, we can find the shift, we can find the angle by simply saying shift cosine 0.95. This is going to be 18.19. Okay, so these degrees, we can therefore say BCA, which is this angle, is equal to 18. Let me just say 0.0 degrees. That is just how you calculate for the angles using the cosine rule. Alright, let's try to find the missing angle. So in this case, we want to find this particular angle. Okay, so if you want to find this particular angle, how do you go about it? But first of all, let's try to find the distance A. Now, let's use the same concept. This is going to be our A, this is going to be our B, and this is going to be our C, because we know that that's just how we represent them on the triangles. Now, let's find the distance A. Let's just try to come up with the sine rule. Okay, we are using the sine rule because we haven't been given any distance this side. Let's say the distance this side and the distance this side, then the angle. Okay, we only have one side which is complete. So if you only have one side which is complete, what are you using? You just got it right. We are using the sine rule. So this is going to be A over sine A equal to, this is going to be B over sine B. And of course C over sine big letter C. So in this case, which one is complete? B is complete because B has both the angle 60 degrees and the distance 40 kilometers. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. That's the first thing to go about it. That's the first thing to consider. So in this case, we are going to get our B, which is complete. We say sine B. So we can get any. Which one do we find first? We're finding A. We put our A here. The distance for B is 40 kilometers over sine 60. This is going to equal to A, which we're looking for, but the angle for A has been given, which is 20 degrees. From here we can say A sine 60 equal to, this is going to be 40 sine 20. So from here we can say sine 60 over sine 60. So this is going to be A is equal to, let's try to calculate that. This is going to be 40 sine 20 divided by sine 60. Okay, so we are getting 15.8 kilometers. We can therefore say that the distance BC, which was being represented by the letter A, is equal to 15.8 kilometers. All right, so I want you to find this question. Yes, by now you know which formula to use. Then I also want you to find the side C. If you manage to do that, send the answers on this particular line. Plus 26 0777 66 40 46. This is my WhatsApp line, and I'll be able to respond to you. Thank you so much.